On December 31st, 1999, in Millwood, Pennsylvania, a distressed teen named Angela Waters makes her way to a Y2K party, desperately asking partygoers for help, but she's ignored. Spotting the group of teens Davy Adams, Sydney Howarth, Corey Bryant, Elodie Honrada, and Marjorie Oliver dancing, Angela approaches Sydney and kneels in front of her as she holds her hands, begging her to look at her. Unfortunately, Davy forces a reluctant Sydney to ignore Angela. Because of this, Angela climbs up the rafters, and after getting everyone's attention, Angela jumps, ending her life, and her blood spreads on the dance floor. Angela was always a pick-me girl. 22 years later, while Davy is having dinner with her pregnant teen daughter, Imogen's ex-best friend, Karen Beasley, arrives to retrieve her stuff. Karen hands Davy an envelope she saw taped on their door. The envelope has "To Davy" written in black ink, but the A is written in red and contains the Y2K party's flyer. On the back of the flyer is an ominous message about Angela's death. While Karen goes through Imogen's closet, Imogen tells her that it was Greg who kissed her at her party and not the other way around. Pissed, Karen walks out but stops upon seeing the hallway wet. Hearing the water running, Imogen and Karen walk towards the bathroom, where they discover the horrifying sight of Davy's bloody corpse in the overflowing bathtub with an A on the tiles by the tub written in blood. Honestly, that penmanship is next level for blood. 1 month later, on Monday, September 28th, Imogen, who's now living with real estate agent Sydney and Sydney's daughter, Tabitha or Tabby, decides to return to school. As they walk to school, Tabby and Imogen talk about how they didn't know their moms were friends and how their moms talk vaguely about high school. When they get to Davy's house, Imogen can't get herself to enter it to retrieve her ultrasound photo, so Tabby just leaves the spare key under the mat for the cleaners and they leave, not knowing that someone is watching them from inside the house. They arrive at Millwood High School, where Karen, who's running for Spirit Week's Spirit Queen, taunts Imogen, prompting Tabby to defend her. Corey's daughter, Farron Bryant, arrives and ignores Karen, who's calling her. When Karen taunts Elodie's daughter, Minnie or Mouse, who is looking at the Spectrum Club for LGBTQIA+ youth flyers, Mouse calls her Basic Barbie. Mouse then bumps into Marjorie's daughter, Noah Oliver, who is on probation after going to juvenile detention, and says Karen is a dick. Noah later receives a strange message from an unknown number. Appalled by her film class's approved film list, Tabby shares with her film teacher, Mr. Smythe, and the rest of the class that she will be having a film screening at Orpheum, the theater she works at, starting with a Jordan Peele double feature. Shortly after, she receives a strange message from an unknown number. While in class, Imogen receives a strange message from an unknown number, telling her to look out the window. When she does, she sees a masked figure staring at her, who quickly disappears when she takes a second look. That would scare the whiteness out of me. When Mouse receives a strange message from an unknown number, she immediately blocks the number. Millwood dance teacher Madame Jury assigns the role of the Black Swan, Odile, to Farron for the upcoming Swan Lake performance. Well, that's racist, JK. Karen, who is upset that hers is a supporting role, congratulates Farron and insinuates that she got the Black Swan role because she's black. And After Karen leaves, Farron receives a strange message from an unknown number. At the female restroom, Millwood student Sandy asks Imogen if she's going to raise her baby alone. Because of this, Imogen panics about raising the baby with no support and tells Millwood's nurse, Nurse Simmons, that she wants to get rid of the baby as it is the best option. Nurse Simmons tells her that it's too late for that, as she's 6 months pregnant, and tells her that she can give it up for adoption instead once the baby is born. Even if she was under the term, it'd be illegal in Texas. Tabby enters the boys' locker room and takes the camera she has secretly placed there. Dang, we got a peeping girly pop. While Noah is doing community service, she sees a masked figure watching her. When she goes to report it to Karen's dad, Sheriff Tom Beasley, she catches him receiving cerebral lollipop from one of the male teens on probation in his sheriff's car. Pop off, queen. Get that daddy's bag, sis. Oh, Kurt. Sorry, that was in the script. Trying to expose Millwood students to diverse contemporary filmmaking, Tabby asks her manager, Wes, if they can host a double feature of Jordan Peele movies Get Out and Us on Thursday after school, proposing the series can be free, but they'll charge for soda and popcorn, to which Wes agrees. When Imogen finally gains the courage to return to their house, she retrieves her ultrasound photo, reminiscing about her mom supporting her, and finds the flyer her mom received the night of her death. Driving Tabby home, Wes stops on the side of the road to make a move on her. When he's about to kiss her, a masked figure appears, prompting them to immediately drive away for their safety. When Tabby gets home, she watches the footage of the boys in the locker room and starts taking notes. Miss Tabby Ma'am probably only catches them mogging each other. On Tuesday, Millwood student Ash approaches Mouse and invites her to join the Spectrum Club because he saw her checking his flyers out. After she says she's not into groups, he invites her for lunch. Principal Clanton checks on Imogen after Nurse Simmons shares to him Imogen's concerns. After she assures him that she just had a bad day, he tells her that some of her classmates are triggered by her presence, prompting a furious Imogen to loudly confront Karen in the cafeteria. After Karen tells her that she doesn't belong there, Imogen declares that she's running against her for Spirit Queen, which delights most students, including Farron, who says she's going to vote for Imogen. When Karen rants about Imogen, Imogen's mom, and Farron at their family dinner, Tom tells her that if she wants to land the lead role, she needs to be better than everyone else, which upsets Karen. While practicing, Farron sees a masked figure who she fails to find. Meanwhile, at the Haworths, Imogen shows Tabby the Y2K flyer, confused about her mother's death, and her ultrasound photo. Tabby assures her that everything's going to be okay. The school janitor sees and follows the masked figure. He discovers the figure's secret hideout, where he sees vandalized Spirit Queen flyers of Karen, a sample cup, a rat, razor blades, and point shoes, among other things. The masked figure then kills the janitor. When Imogen and Tabby arrive at school the next day, Wednesday, they see Karen's flyers vandalized with derogatory terms and Imogen's Spirit Queen posters everywhere, with 1A as the only red font, prompting them to assume that Karen did it to get them in trouble. Meanwhile, Mouse is summoned by Principal Clanton after Karen finds a dead rat in her bag. Noah gets detention for a week until summer break after her test comes back positive for cannabis, and Farron loses her role after Karen accuses her of putting razor blades in her point shoes. Imogen, Tabby, Mouse, Noah, and Farron all end up in detention. Upon discussing their situations, they become convinced that Karen framed them. About 6 months ago, Imogen attended Karen's party. Tabby arrived with Chip, who went to get their drinks, and Sean stayed with Noah instead of his football friends. When Imogen went to tell Greg that Karen wanted him to go do a beer run, Greg told Imogen that he wanted Karen to be more like her and slowly moved towards her. After Karen's twin sister Kelly saw them kissing, she immediately reported it to Karen, who confronted Imogen in front of the other partygoers. Imogen told her that it was Greg who kissed her, but Greg appeared and told Karen that Imogen kissed him because she's drunk and stupid, prompting Karen to throw Imogen out of their house. When will girls realize never to listen to ugly men? In the present day, Imogen tells Tabby, Mouse, Noah, and Farron that there's a video of Karen from her party that can ruin her. Tabby suggests playing it before her double feature at the Orpheum, so people can see it, but it won't be on the internet, and proposes to edit it in a way that no one can record it. However, after watching the video, they become hesitant if they should push through with the plan. When they get home, their parents talk to them about their offenses. They later receive videos and messages from an unknown number, showing the perpetrator preparing the items used to frame them. Convinced that it's Karen, the girls decide to go through with the plan. At the screening the next day, Thursday, October 1st, everyone watches a drunk Karen talking about Greg's small genitals and poor performance in bed, asking partygoer Tyler, who's filming her, to show her how big he is, and asking him if he wants to see top or bottom after he asks her to show him hers first. Humiliated, Karen leaves and Kelly runs after her. After the girls assure Imogen, who feels bad, that Karen deserves it, Wes reprimands Tabby but gives her a second chance. Karen texts Imogen, who meets her at the cemetery. Imogen tells her that when she found Tyler filming her, when she returned to her party to get her sweater, she saved her and snatched Tyler's phone. Karen reveals that she lost her virginity to Greg earlier that night, so she got furious when she learned about the kiss. She then accuses Imogen of keeping the video to have something against her. Kelly impersonates Karen and tells Principal Clanton that she's withdrawing from the Spirit Queen race as she doesn't deserve it, admitting to trashing her own posters. When she gets home, she sees Karen crying as she reads comments about her. She comforts her, tells her that she got detention for a week for the posters, and proposes to get back at Imogen in the style of Carrie. Principal Clanton informs Imogen of Karen's withdrawal. Feeling terrible, Imogen tells the girls that she won't go to the dance, but the girls convince her to go together as friends. After Tom talks to Noah about keeping her mouth shut, he gives her permission to take her ankle monitor off and go to the dance. On Friday, the night of the dance, Imogen searches for Karen as she intends to apologize and give her her crown. Meanwhile, Farron dances with Millwood ballet student Henry, Mouse gets high with Ash, Tabby searches for Karen with Chip, and Noah makes love with Sean in a classroom. When Principal Clanton crowns Imogen as Spirit Queen, the girls see Karen in the rafters and warn Imogen. Imogen looks up and sees Karen, who recognizes that something is wrong based on Imogen's reaction. When Karen turns around, the masked figure pushes her off the rafters, leading to her death. While everyone screams and runs in fear, most of them thinking Karen ended her own life, all 5 girls receive a text message from A, who says 1 bully down, 5 more to go, and warns them that whoever doesn't keep their mouth shut will be next. The frightened girls leave the dance floor and Imogen informs them that she saw Karen in the rafters with a bucket and a man in a mask pushed her, to which they say they've seen the masked figure too. The girls go home and avoid talking about what happened when their parents ask them. Meanwhile, Kelly suggests to Tom that Karen might have ended her own life. Haunted by the past, Sydney recalls how she and her group felt scared and guilty after Angela died. Meanwhile, on a video call with the girls, Imogen deduces that A framed them, not Karen. After the call, Imogen tells Tabby about the clues such as the A by the tub and the red A on the envelope and posters, suggesting the incidents might be connected. On Monday, the masked figure fails to grab Imogen's legs while Principal Clanton addresses the incident. When Imogen asks Kelly about the Y2K flyer, Kelly denies any knowledge of it. Tom later interrogates the girls in Principal Clanton's office about Karen's video and tells them he'll open up a criminal investigation against them, prompting their parents to intervene. On Tuesday, Imogen surrenders Tyler's phone to Sydney. At school, the girls discover that they've been named to have bullied Karen to death on the school paper. The girls' mothers meet up at Davy's house to talk about what to do. Ella D shares that she thinks it can't be a coincidence that all their daughters are in trouble, but Corey says Millwood is a small town. Madame Giry kicks Farron out of ballet class, saying the other dancers don't feel comfortable around her. Meanwhile, browsing Davy's yearbook, Imogen learns about the Y2K Survivors Club. Sydney and Corey hand Tyler's phone to Tom and Principal Clanton, saying Tyler should be held accountable, but Tom is convinced that the girls should be punished. The recent events affect Noah's relationship with Sean. Meanwhile, Chip informs Tabby that he lost the flash drive that contains the Karen video used during the screening. Imogen visits the warehouse where the Y2K party was held and discovers a shrine for Angela Waters. The masked figure arrives but fails to find her. After Imogen tells Tabby about Angela, Imogen receives a message from Kelly inviting her to Karen's funeral on Thursday. On Wednesday, Noah tries to convince Farron and Mouse to betray Imogen and Tabby after Tom tells her to. Meanwhile, Imogen revisits the warehouse with Tabby, who sets up a camera in hopes of capturing A. Sydney arrives and later explains what happened to Angela, but lies about how kind her circle treated her. When Noah reveals to Sean that she took the blame for Marjorie's drug use, Sean apologizes for not believing her, and they make up. Meanwhile, Tabby retrieves the flash drive from Wes's house. On Thursday, Imogen attends Karen's funeral, and Karen's grieving mom, Martha, wishes ill for her baby, despite Kelly stopping her. Imogen later tells the girls that she'll take all the blame at the hearing, but all the girls, including Noah, tell her that they are all equally responsible. On Friday, Principal Clanton announces that the disciplinary committee has been postponed after Kelly admits that Karen was in the rafters to harm Imogen. Sydney later informs the other moms about the Y2K flyer and that Imogen and Tabby know about Angela. Dining in another booth, Imogen shares with the girls that she thinks there's something their moms are not telling them. Before Corey leaves for Pittsburgh, she informs Farron that she's back in Swan Lake as the Black Swan after she threatened Madame Giry with a lawsuit. Meanwhile, Kelly apologizes to Imogen and blames herself for Karen's death because it was her idea. The girls visit Karen's grave and see the masked figure in a van watching them. That was just the first 3 episodes of the show. Season 2 is going on now. What do you think of this series so far? Should we cover more?
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.